Hello everyone, um, welcome to the channel. So let me just put that out there. There are 1,000,001 videos on how to draft a basic bodice block. So mine is going to be the 1,000,001 video, right? So I'm going to be starting from the very basics all the way to the advanced level. I'm not going to say because there are 1,000,001 video, I'm not going to follow the process. So if you're a beginner in the fashion industry, you can follow me along and tell me what you want me to discuss or what's a pattern you want me to draft. Then I'll go ahead and draft the pattern for you. So today we're going to be discussing how to draft the basic bodice block, right? And it's relatively very simple, very easy, and very straightforward. But it has always been a very huge challenge for people, right? So I'm going to be drafting the basic bodice block with zipper allowance. So it's not going to be a basic block without the zipper. This is a basic, I'm sorry, I'm muttering. This is a basic bodice block with zipper allowance. So the first thing I'm going to do here is to draw my vertical line and my horizontal line using the ruler as a guide. So this ruler is about 1.5 inches. That's what I'm using. I don't have a standard measurement for the green line that I draw, but I just like to use my ruler both for the horizontal aspect of the paper and the vertical aspect because of the shoulder line, right? So the materials you'll be needing is your pencil. You'll also be needing biro. Okay, you'll be needing your pencil, you need biros, both red and blue biro. Then you need a marker to reinforce the line. You don't necessarily need a marker, but because of teaching purpose, that is why I'm using a marker. Then your pattern master, your tape measure, and your paper scissors. Right, so if after drafting this basic bodice block, you want me to show you how to couple it together with tips and tricks that you should put in mind when you are lining and when you are not lining, let me know in the comment section and I'll do that for us already. But for the beginners curriculum, I already have something drafted out. But if you want something more than that, you let me know. So the first thing we're going to be doing is to draw our margin line, which is what we've already drawn here. Then we'll now go ahead and draw the shoulder line. Now my shoulder line is 14 inches. I already have a separate video talking about where I showed you how to measure using my mannequin. So, and the tips and tricks I should put in mind. So the shoulder line for me is 14 inches and I'm marking half of that on this red line here. So when I have half of that, which is 7, now this basic bodice block is going to be with sleeve. It's 7 inches. Now, I need the calculator. My armhole measurement is my bust measurement divided by 6 plus 1.5 divided by 4 plus 1.5. That's 10. That's 7.5. Sorry, not 10.5. Okay, 7.5. But for ease of movement, since I'm going to be attaching a sleeve, I like to do 8 inches, sometimes 8.25. So I don't have to trim the armhole when I'm done working, and I tend to have a lot of room. So I'm just going to do 8 inches as a standard measurement for myself. That's 8 inches. My shoulder to waist is 16.5 inches. My standard bodice measurement for the upper part of my body is 24, 25 inches in terms of length. So we're going to be sticking with 25 inches and adjust it when necessary. Yes, 25 inches is fine. Now the beautiful thing about the basic bodice block is that with it you can be able to draft out your blazer patterns, can be able to draft out anything that you want to draft out concerning your upper body as a lady, right? So that's what you should just put in mind when you are drafting. Okay. And I'm going to be managing my paper. So everything I'm going to be drafting will directly be on this paper, right? And I'm going to tell you how I transfer it when I need to do a bit of transfer if necessary. Okay, now that I've drawn all my horizontal lines, this is my bust line, my waist line, and my hip line. Use my marker. I'm going to be marking a quarter of my bust measurement, which is 9 inches. That's my bust measurement divided by 4 is 9 inches. My waist is 28 inches. It shuffles between 28 and 29 inches, depending on how I eat or how my diet is for that particular month. So that's my waist measurement, 29 divided by 4, which is 7.25. I'm going to add a dot to this measurement, which becomes 8.25. Now for my hip, I always add 2 inches or 1.5 inches to my bust measurement. That's what I do. So so bothered about the length. This is the bust measurement, so we'll do 2 inches. That's the 1.5 inches. Now, before I connect the lines, two things. Either I use freehand to draw my armhole, or I, do some adjustments here and there. So what I want to do, since I'm teaching, from this shoulder line, I'm going to draw a straight line downwards. I'm going to draw a straight line downwards. After drawing a straight line downwards, I'm going to find the center point of this armhole, which is 4 inches. On this 4-inch mark, I'll come in, let's say half of an inch, less than half of an inch, basically. That's the amount of which I will come in for the back armhole. So let me see if I can get a different color marker. I'm going to use the green marker. Is it actually good? Okay, so the green marker for the back armhole. Then I get this point and connect it to this point using my pattern master. Then I connect the lines, still using my pattern master, so that I don't have pointy sides. Yeah. You can also use your ruler if you have a straight ruler, but since I have my pattern master, that's why I'm using my pattern master. You see what I did there? Just to cover the waist a little bit. Just ensuring that the hip line of my blouse is not pointy. That is why I'm not using my ruler. Okay, so we're done with the back already. Oh my goodness. We're done with the back already. Ideally, I'm supposed to have drawn my shoulder slope line. Can you see the essence of these spaces that I have left? Because now I have reported all my measurements here, but I'm having issues with the shoulder slope line. I forgot to draw my shoulder slope line before drawing my armhole, my bust, my waist, and my hip measurement. Now what I'm going to do is to take advantage of this space. And by taking advantage of this space, I'm going to extend this line up, right? After extending it up, I'm going to mark my neckline measurement. Now, the neckline measurement for a standard neckline measurement is 3 inches, 3.5 inches, depending on how wide your neck is. But I always like to do 3 1/4, so the neck is not too tight. Yeah. So from this point, I'm going to draw a sloped line to meet this point. Okay. So if you check now, it has sort of affected the measurement. So I have an extra, I measured here as well, 16.5. I have an extra 1 1/4 inch. So what I'm going to do is to remove it from the waistline. So from this point, 16.5, 16.5, I'm going to draw a new waistline. I'm drawing a new waistline and ensure that I report the measurement to the waistline. This is 8, almost 8.5. The same thing. So this is my new waistline. Yeah. So I'm going to correct the waist curve. There's nothing much to correct because the body is already curved and we're already done with the body parts. Now we're going to fix the neck. The basic neck is, let's say, the standard is 1.5, but I like to do 2. Except I'm doing a bodice, a jacket. That's when I do 1.5, 1 inch. So I'm going to draw across all the way and take this to the top as well. Okay, after doing that, I'm just going to draw a curve for the back neckline. I will draw a curve for the back neckline. Okay. Now, I said this tutorial is going to have a zipper, right? It's a basic bodice block with a zipper. Now, to do the zipper part, I have to clear this off the table. Okay, for the zipper part, on our new waistline, this is what we're going to do. From this edge, let me extend the waistline outward. From this waistline, I'm going to go in by half of an inch. Should I do half? Let me do quarter. You can do half, you can do quarter, you can do 1.5, depending on how snatched you want it to be. But I just want it. It's a basic bodice block. It's not something that is. When I'm doing a corset or anything, I can always, or I want a corset inside, I can always go in more so that I can have that curved, more pronounced. But since it's just a basic block, okay, let's do half inch. Let's do half. Yeah. So the aim now is to connect that half-inch mark to, oh my goodness, is to connect the half-inch mark to the bust line as well as the hip line. Okay, that's what we're going to do. See, I'm trying to find the perfect point that I can get. I'm just going to eyeball it first of all. And then we just draw dotted lines, goes into nothing. The same thing with the hip, dotted lines into nothing. To meet with the, no, this is nothing. The first dotted line I did was nothing, so I had to redo it again. And that's why I'm using dotted lines. I'm also using pencil. So I'm going to trace out the dotted lines using the marker so that the camera can capture it. Yeah, that's it. So let's pronounce it first of all. If I want to first of all pronounce the back, right? Then go ahead to complete with this one. If you've watched up to this point, please help me get to 5,000 subscribers by subscribing to my channel. Please, just help me get to 5,000 subscribers by subscribing to the channel, telling me what you want to be added to the basic bodies, to the basic level of pattern drafting and sewing, and I'll do just that for you. The next thing we're going to work on now is the front armhole and the front neckline. Now, to work on the front armhole, still using this mark, I'm going to come in by half of an inch, half and quarter of an inch. That's how much I will come in by. Almost 1 inch. 1 inch is too much. So half and quarter of an inch. And this cuts across for everybody. And again, it depends on how busty the person is. Though the person is so busty, we just have to use discretion to, carry it. Then the front neckline will be attended to as well. This is the front. Then this is the back. For the front neckline, we're going to come down by 6 inches. And I'm going to my curved line. And that's it. Please, for this curved neckline, for the front, you can see that I did not extend it towards the end because when I want to cut out the front piece, I don't need this part, right? But I will need it for the back. And how I draft my pattern to conserve paper is how I've just drafted it here. And that's why I use different colors of pen when I'm drafting. So the next thing we're going to do now is to cut out the front piece away from the back piece. And how do I do that? My paper is quite white, so let's see if I can get the front. Okay, I can get the front and the back from this paper. I'm a slim lady, so I tend to escape from when I have a more plus size clients or clients who are on the larger size. That's when I tend to have a bit of a challenge with paper. But since it's just myself, there you have it. All right. So now that I have it folded, the first thing we're going to cut is the back. So before cutting the back, I like to report the lines on the back piece. So I have my tracing wheel. I'll just put my ruler, mark the bust line. Recall that I don't have a dart yet on this piece. Yeah, so I'll mark the bust line. I would also mark the waistline. No need for the hip line. Then I think that's all. Yeah, that's all. That's all the lines I need to report. Okay. Okay, so I can see the lines here. The camera wouldn't be able to capture the holes, but the tracing wheel will just help you report the lines on the other side of the paper. Yeah, that's the bust line. Then we have the waistline. This is bust. This is waist. Okay, now I can start cutting. Look this. Recall that we're cutting the back, not the front. So we're going to, before we cut the folded lines, let us cut the zipper. Right, the zipper is out. Then we'll cut the neckline. Then we'll cut the back armhole. After cutting the back armhole, we're going to cut the shoulder slope line. Now the shoulder slope line for both the front and the back is the same thing. You don't have to stress too much. Okay. Then you can see that when I was cutting the back armhole, I cut both the front and the back armhole together. So there's no difference between the front armhole and the back armhole, and it's intentional because the back armhole tends to be more wider than the front armhole. So we can always, remove the back measurement from the front measurement. That's how we separate the back from the front, if that makes sense. So we're going to cut off the sides. I took the light, so apologies for the dark room. So I've tampered with this measurement already, but you get the picture of what I'm trying to say, right? So, what am I going to do? I can't see this. I have to correct this. Try to separate it. I have to correct it. Good. Okay. So when this is supposed to be 7.5, 7.25, sorry. 1 inch that is what it's supposed to be. So this is supposed to go out like this. Exactly. You see what I said? The first thing suggested that you've been on one video talking about how to draft a basic block, but here we're just going to make it beginners focused. Yeah. So this has been corrected. This tiny thing here has been corrected. So this is taped to the front only. Yeah. So what we're going to do now is to cut this off. Now we put it on the back. I know there are too many backs. There you have it, guys. So this is our back piece already done. Yeah. We have our zipper allowance in already. So by the time you measure out, so this is the back piece that will be moved from the front piece. So this is our main block. We're going to keep it aside and work on the back block first. So our waist measurement from the side, we have an half-inch mark inwards. So our waist measurement is 7.25 plus 1 inch that. So whatever is left here is the zipper allowance. The bust measurement is 9 inch. Whatever is left here is the zipper allowance. Now our hip measurement on the block from this line is 10.5 inches. So from the side seam, I'm going to measure 10.5 inches. I'll measure 10.5 inches. Whatever is left here is the zipper allowance. Okay. Now the measurement of the bust the measurement of the zipper allowance at the bust line is the same thing with the neck, and I have 1¼ so I'm going to have 1¼ here also. Yeah, get my ruler and connect the lines, the straight lines, which is from the neckline to the bust line. For me, yeah, from the neckline to the bust line. So I'm doing now. Then I'll use my still using my ruler, connect it to the waistline, then connect it to the hip line. Yeah, you can see how it is. So it is on this line that we're going to sew our zipper. So this is the back piece, back block, and the measurement used is bust 36, waist 28. That's the measurement used for this block, right? Good. So it restores the power. So now that we have this one sorted out, we're going to now move to the front piece. Now on the front piece, we don't have so much to do, but we have some cuttings to take out. The first thing we're going to be cutting off is this zipper line. Then we take this out. Then we're going to cut off the front armhole and the neckline. Then we're going to cut off the neckline. Yeah. So this is the back piece. This is the front piece. As you can see, by the time you match this up, the shoulder slope matches with the shoulder slope. The armhole point matches with the armhole point, and you have your zipper allowance waiting here for you to insert your zip when you are ready. So when it's time for you to use your pattern on your fabric, don't forget to add seam allowance. So I always write it here. Add ½ inch side seam allowance. Add ½ inch side seam allowance. So the side seam allowance includes the bust line. It includes the bust line, the waistline, the hip line, the armhole line. You understand? As well as the shoulder slope line. The same thing for the back. The bust line, the waistline, the hip line, as well as the shoulder slope line. Now, if you want me to do a video on how I coupled this piece together, let me know in the comment section of the video, and I'm going to do it. Thank you for watching up to this point. If you enjoyed the video, please share with your sewing community. Give the video a thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next tutorial. Bye.